is Wade Weichel. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you for spending time with us today. We really appreciate that. As was mentioned, we are going to cover a number of different topics today. First, we'll be focusing on our roadmap for Blackboard Learn 9.1, followed by Collaborate. So Carl will be presenting that. We'll then come back and look at Blackboard mobile solutions and the roadmap for those solutions. I'll provide an update on our SaaS deployment offerings for Blackboard Learn, as well as a summary update on Learn and the Ultra experience for Learn. Of course, today we're going to be talking about future enhancements, so just keep that in mind, that things do sometimes change. So our focus today on our first session is really about what we're investing in and what we are doing for Blackboard Learn 9.1. This is the solution that most of our customers use for their VLE. It's a powerful platform, lots of different features, a rich feature set that's been developed over many years, and we are continuing to invest in this solution for our customers. We are continuing to release 2 major releases every 6 months, and we are committed to that. So you can expect to see a major release generally in the 2nd quarter of a year, as well as the 4th and last quarter of the year. Between those major releases, we are continuing to perform maintenance and fixes, and those are released as cumulative updates. Previously, those used to come rather infrequently, but we're now in a cadence where those are generally released about once per month for currently supported versions of Blackboard Learn 9.1. So you can see here sort of our planned cadence for those releases, as well as the period of time that we would be supporting a given major release. And as we are prioritizing the things that we are doing within Blackboard Learn 9.1, we are focusing on the feedback that we hear from our clients. And the one that we hear most often is that we should be focusing on quality, that not having bugs is the most important thing that we could do, that we need to be focused on the stability of the environment, a secure environment. So we are going to be continuing, of course, to work on bugs and bug fixes, but we are also investing in changes to add stability to the environments. And one of these has to do with the way in which certain updates are installed. A few years ago, we had some clients who experienced instability issues related to the way that we were releasing building block fixes. In many cases, we would document that the fixes had to be sequenced in a very particular way, but if you did not do that exact sequence, environmental instability would arise. So we did make some changes to software updates in order to require a certain sequence of applying building blocks, but we did not do the same thing for cumulative updates. So we are still in a situation where if a certain fix requires a sequence of a cumulative update and a building block, it's possible for that to not be fulfilled in the correct sequence. So we are making an enhancement to the software updates infrastructure that will allow us to check as well which cumulative updates have been applied in a particular environment. So this should lead to greater stability in applying fixes and maintenance to 9.1. And quality and support and security comes not only from fixes within the Blackboard Learn application, but also within its supporting technology. And so we need to invest in updating to the latest technologies that are behind the application. One of which that is in development right now is to update to the latest JDK, so the Java Development Kit that's used by our application. So Blackboard Learn runs on Java, This is not in relation to the Java that maybe an end user would use in his or her browser. Again, I'm talking about on the server side. Currently, we're on Java 7. We are moving to Java 8 to be on the latest supported version by Oracle. On the topic of Java, I'm actually very pleased to announce that as of yesterday, we completed an agreement with Oracle for extended support on Java 7 SE. So we're going to be able to continue to receive any sort of security update and other maintenance updates on Java 7 for our current customers. So in particular, if you're self-hosted, and you want to make sure that you are in compliance with latest supported versions or that you have extended support contracts on your underlying technologies. Again, we are going to be providing Java 7 extended support. We've contracted through Oracle to do that on behalf of all of our Blackboard Learn customers. So again, we just signed that yesterday. We are putting together a plan to make announcements about that, to be distributing that. So be looking for more information about that. Also, besides Oracle, later this year we are looking at updating to the latest SQL Server version for our Windows self-hosted customers. So the next section is really new information. Many of you may have not seen some of this or heard too much about this yet. But one of our key areas of focus for Blackboard Learn 9.1 in 2016 is development work that has already started to bring some of the experiences that we've been developing in our Collaborate Ultra, our BB Student app, which is also inspired by Ultra, bringing some of that design language to Blackboard Learn 9.1. So we are developing a new Blackboard Learn theme. This theme, again, is inspired by Ultra, and it is going to be available for our self-hosted and managed hosted customers. So within a 9.1 update, you will have access to a new theme, and you'll see something similar to what you see here within this mock-up. So a refreshed skin and some major changes to, aesthetic changes to the workflows, to the way that you interact with the software, really updating it for users, making it feel more consistent with other Blackboard products with the Ultra experience, but also to give users a sense of a more modern interface. So this is sort of the first piece of the work related to an improved interface in Blackboard Learn 9.1. Other areas of improvement that we will do as part of that work is to simplify usability and workflows. So just to give one example, would be bringing certain settings up to the context in which it makes the most sense. So in this example, being able to modify the course availability or other primary configurations of the course, and being able to do that within the main screen. In this case, we have not updated the mock-up with the new theme, but you can apply that idea from the prior mock-up to this one and understand the direction. And then the third component of the work as part of the redesign is bringing responsiveness as well to 9.1 where we can. And responsiveness refers to the ability of the interface to accommodate different screen sizes very well. So being able to be on a desktop, a tablet, or even a handheld device, and being able to interact easily and effectively with the software. So getting to responsive is a journey. We're going to be prioritizing different areas of the interfaces that are very commonly used and focusing on making those responsive. So just to give a couple of examples, a student being able to navigate and access the contents of a course and the menus within a mobile device might be one example. Another example of responsiveness for a tablet user, perhaps, so this could be an instructor or an educator, being able to access the settings options for an item, which today is difficult to do on a touch device because that menu requires a mouse over context menu. So again, making these sorts of changes to make Blackboard Learn 9.1 more easily used and more effectively used on tablet and handheld devices. So now switching topics a little bit from the user interface work, we're also continuing to invest in enhancing existing features, rounding them out, making them more useful and effective. With the October 2014 release, we released the Student Goal Performance Dashboards, and these were dashboards to give students and educators insight and transparency into the learning outcomes that are being developed and measured within the course, as well as the program or course of study, by displaying those both within the course context as well as the course of study or the program and aggregating them. So we have a couple of areas of enhancement that we'll be focusing on. The first is to enhance the existing module dashboard or the in-course dashboard, and giving educators the opportunity to see multiple students at once, as well as an aggregate of that student performance within the class. And this will allow the educators to prioritize his or her student engagements, determining very quickly and easily which students I should talk to today, or how I might plan a particular lesson or group students for an activity. Another set of work is to improve the existing program or course of study dashboard. And in that today, we do a lot of aggregation across all of the different modules or courses within the program. And we want to bring more information to academic coaches, to advisors, including progress on completed activities, for example, or the degree to which a student is mastering a particular learning outcome within the context of the given module or course. The next area of enhancement is to take what we've done with Grades Journey, which is used for exchanging grades and marks with the student information system, and doing some perfective work on there, making it even easier and better to use. So this was part of our October 2015 release. The solution is also available to other customers on prior versions, working with our consulting or professional services group. But again, this is a core functionality now within Blackboard Learn, and we heard from our customers that it's great and it does a lot of different things, but there are some things that we could do better. And the first one that we're prioritizing is better support for merged sections. So at some institutions, merged sections are heavily utilized, and we want Grades Journey to better be able to accommodate that, so that those services of exchange, whether it be through flat file, REST services, or the IMS Global LIS 2.0 SOAP-based web services, that all of those work better with merged sections. The second area of improvement is to reduce barriers for our Ellucian users. So for institutions using Banner or Colleague, making it a little easier to get data out presently. So that would include support for the IMS 1.1 XML export. So today, if you're using a solution such as Tribal Sits, that works pretty streamlined because it supports the kind of data exchange that we're supporting with Grades Journey, whereas Banner and Colleague are looking for slightly different formatted files. So there's an extra step essentially involved for those student information systems, and we would like to make that easier for our clients. Carl's going to go into a little bit more detail about the functionality of Collaborate Ultra as well as our roadmap for Collaborate Ultra, but I just wanted to hit upon the integration points of Collaborate Ultra with Blackboard Learn 9.1. So there is an integration available today. So Collaborate Ultra is exposed and integrated into a Blackboard Learn 9.1 course that has been localized to Blackboard Learn languages. But we want to improve and deepen that integration. And that includes things like being able to see your recorded sessions, improved session management from the Blackboard Learn interface, accessing and downloading recordings, updating certain telephony settings about connecting audio to the session, and also being able to manage both a Collaborate 12.6 session like we're using today, side by side with a Collaborate Ultra experience. So an original experience Collaborate session and an Ultra experience Collaborate session, both of which can be used within the same module or course. So that you can choose to use the tool that's going to be most effective for your particular activity. But beyond that, also leveraging functionality that exists within 9.1 and being able to integrate that or use it in a meaningful way within a Collaborate Ultra session. So just a couple of examples of this would be to bring back attendance information from a session into the Blackboard Learn gradebook, being able to use your group definitions of Blackboard Learn to define breakout sessions within Collaborate Ultra, as well as, again, seeing and managing those sessions on the calendar. The final major topic I would like to discuss is what we're bringing in terms of an enhanced cloud profile. So a little bit of a backstory here. There is a solution online at myedu.com that allows students to build and curate and define a lifelong portfolio. And it's really designed for students, whereas something like LinkedIn is designed for people who already have professional experiences. This is an experience where students can build a profile around interests, around projects that they're working on, other areas of skill development. And it really is designed for an undergraduate and a graduate student to develop a portfolio toward employment. There are over 2 million student profiles already on MyEDU, and those come from 1,000 different institutions. So this is integrated in 9.1 today as the Enhanced Cloud Profile, but only for our North American clients. And so what we're doing is bringing this to other countries around the world. So as we make this available, it's going to be an optional enhancement for April 2014 or higher, so if you're on one of those recent versions. And again, it'll be accessible through My Blackboard. As I mentioned before, it allows students to document certain objectives, career information, language proficiency, and so forth in a way that is tile-based and very visually interesting. It is a lifelong profile. Students can continue to access this even when their study has completed with their educational institution. They can be shared either privately or publicly. It does have a link, which means that they can share it with others or link it into LinkedIn or other sorts of profiles, and the student can author the profiles in his or her own language. And it is opt-in, so students and institutions choose to opt in to creating a profile. No data is exchanged about that student unless the student opts in to create a profile. So again, just to wrap that up about MyEDU, the interface itself is going to initially be in US English, but the authoring spaces will allow student to input within any local language. So that is one of the key items for summarizing what we're planning to do within 2016. As I mentioned earlier, we're investing in updating to the latest Java. We're also going to be enhancing existing functionality, including student goal performance dashboards, grades journey, also better integration and further integration with Collaborate Ultra, as well as other quality improvements. The other major investment, just to highlight once again, is bringing that new ultra-inspired design language to Blackboard Learn 9.1 through a new theme, through improved workflows, as well as bringing responsive design to key areas of the 9.1 interface. So thank you. I will turn it over to Carl now to discuss Blackboard Collaborate.
Thank you, Wade, and hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm going to discuss Blackboard Collaborate, and we're going to kick off by just doing a really quick review of Collaborate Ultra and some of the capabilities that are available today within Collaborate Ultra, and then transition over into more of a roadmap view of Collaborate Ultra. So starting from here, I wanted to point out that when we think in sort of design Collaborate, we do that with a 100% view of education, of the teaching and learning process, and how the virtual classroom experience or the teacher and student interaction experience or online class experience, etc., can be best suited and tailored within the educational context, obviously, for Collaborate. As Wade has mentioned a few times, the ultra-inspired design language is something that Blackboard has been working on for quite some time. And Collaborate is one of the products that has benefited pretty early on from that design language, which you'll see in some of the screenshots if you've not seen Collaborate yet. But we have spent much of our sort of UI design around ensuring a very sleek, intuitive interface. And it is entirely browser-based. So as we're using Collaborate version 12 right now, which is a very powerful solution, it required, of course, the Java launcher and in some cases downloads, etc. The whole process of downloading and launching the local Java client is now removed with Collaborate Ultra, and students and teachers alike just join via the browser directly, just like they are very, very used to in the sort of modern internet age. And then lastly, we tailor the experience around various tool sets to support fully inclusive learning, which you'll hear more about, but primarily pertains to users with assistive technology. And that really, those are sort of the three core tenets of Blackboard Collaborate. In terms of the Ultra experience and some of the benefits of the Ultra experience, starting off with the highest level of quality and innovation, you'll see in some of my slides later that we have been very active in releasing new functionality, maintenance, fixing bugs, and Collaborate with the Ultra experience over the course of the last basically 8 months. And we are able to do some of those with zero downtime, which is a great benefit to everybody. We started off the Collaborate Ultra journey really with building on top of an award-winning WebRTC technology that was a company called RequestTech based out of the UK, which was acquired by Blackboard late in 2014. And so the high-quality video and audio really puts people right at the center of the teaching and learning experience. In fact, I've told this story a few times, but in some of my very early presentations of Collaborate, and they might even be on here, but a customer in Sweden had mentioned how some of their teachers commented that the virtual environment using Collaborate was actually sometimes preferred over the in-class environment, given that with the WebRTC high-quality video and audio, the students really are front and center. If I call on a student as a teacher, their video can come up and I can interact with them online using the video capabilities, which is very different than sort of pointing up in the upper rows of the auditorium and calling on someone in the black sweater as an example. The inclusive user experience encourages use across various students, right? So the modern user experience completely focused on education for users of all abilities. I think what you'll see, again, in some of the screenshots is that the very modern look and feel is quite inviting and natural for users to use. We support asynchronous learning models using native MP4 recording and playback. So whether that's recording assets before a class and having students review them, also sort of known as flipping the classroom, or reviewing after the fact. So after the session has been done and students want to play that back for review. And then of course I've mentioned it's entirely web-based and Java free. Students can get started immediately. These are some highlights of what is available now in Collaborate with the Ultra experience. And then on the right-hand side, I've just put up a quick review of sort of how we're approaching delivering new functionality with Collaborate. So you'll notice things on the left side like the MP4 recordings, as I mentioned. We support up to 100 participants in a session today. We recently released integrated telephony. We've been updating also the workflow UIs, not just the session UI, but also the process of creating sessions and accessing recordings, and a fully internationalized scheduling UI, which our older SaaS UI was not internationalized. This is great progress here. On the right side, I'll mention quickly that everything we do goes through beta. We have a very robust technical preview program. I know some of you are in that program. Thank you for participating in that. And we work with our beta customers every other week, actually. We do a session, we review designs, we talk about functionality of coming features. We actually do some priority exercises with that group. And what that has resulted in is really our ability to release rapidly. So every month we've been releasing since August. We've done 7 releases since May of 2015. And we are averaging over 2 weeks of lead time for Collab admins about the changes. Thus far, all the changes we've introduced have been very, very welcomed and not quite needed any longer bake time, if you will. So we've definitely benefited from that. Over time, then we will extend the amount of lead time that Collab admins would want and need to introduce new features to your teachers and students. And we also support customers with very robust help, an adoption toolkit, which allows you to market Collaborate Ultra a little bit more efficiently internally, and then a screenshot library, saving all customers time in producing support and help materials on your own. This is a quick view of the Ultra interface, right? The Ultra design language as it applies to Collaborate. In this particular screenshot, you're seeing basically 2 modes of interaction within Collaborate. On the upper left-hand side, you're seeing the video interaction mode, right? So these were actually some students of parents at Blackboard that were involved in a session, and you can see the high-quality video, multiple videos displayed at a time, and these kids were interacting like they would be in a class, as an example. On the bottom right-hand side, you see the content view, so the sort of guided instruction that's using visual content as part of that instruction, along with the chat. So much like you're experiencing here in this Collaborate version 12 experience with chat is, of course, available in Collaborate with the Ultra experience. Now, I've mentioned inclusive web conferencing a few times, and I wanted to highlight a few things here. One is that in September, I believe September of last year, we published our compliance documentation for the WCAG 2.0 AA standard. For those of you not familiar with that, that is an international standard for web accessibility. And we've been working pretty closely with several customers and one federation in the U.S. The University of Montana has a very robust accessibility program. In fact, one of the champions there and a student at the University of Montana who is blind is part of our technical preview program. They give us feedback literally every other week about how the product works within the context of a screen reader. We've also been working with the Gallaudet University, which is an institution based in Washington, D.C., with a very large deaf and hard of hearing population. And you'll see some designs of new features that'll better benefit that population. And then we've also got the National Federation of the Blind involved in our technical preview program, giving us feedback about the experience as well. Wade's going to go into BD Student in a lot more depth, but I did want to sort of use this opportunity to explain that the solution for Collaborate is really holistic across various devices. So whether you're on the web in a Mac or a PC, or with the availability of BD Student and the mobile collaboration experience within BD Student, supporting iOS and Android devices as well. Now this mobile experience is a full Collaborate session. Users can share their video and their audio, they can view others, they can view the whiteboard, they can annotate on the whiteboard, they can raise their hand, they can chat. All of the common interactions within the Collaborate web experience is also available in the BD student experience. If you have not seen this in action yet, I highly recommend getting a demonstration. It is a very, very powerful and sleek tool, and as I mentioned, Wade will go into a lot more detail about BD students and the various capabilities therein. In Collaborate, we also focus very heavily on connected and integrated workflows. This actually is core to the new learning experience that you've heard about from Blackboard many times. We have an integration today with Learn 9.1 that allows you to set the Ultra or Original Collaborate experience by your course. We also support an integration with Moodle Rooms, and then of course our LTI compliant for integration into any other LTI compliant LMS or VLE. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the Learn 9.1 roadmap as part of the later session, as Wade alluded to. Very, very powerful tools coming in the future for integration with Learn 9.1. Collaborate is supported in the locales listed here. We will also be adding a Maori this quarter in the session, and we will also be adding Finnish in the coming quarter, so probably quarter 2 for the session in the scheduler UI as well. Just one quick note here that Arabic and Hebrew are not yet supported in BD Student, but they will be. But they are supported in the Collaborate web interface today. I've mentioned the continuous delivery, and this is just some highlights of continuous delivery in 2015, so you can get a sense of, on a monthly basis, what's being added and sort of the pace at which we're adding functionality. So you'll see from July all the way through December, we added a fair bit actually. And some of those additions were really more around maintenance. We took the October release as an example to be really just focused on maintenance, fixing bugs. We added a few sort of enhancements here and there. And most recently in December, we've added support for sessions to 100. Interesting fact that globally in 2015, just about 96% of all sessions that were run on Collaborate were 100 participants or less. There is a very strong use case for that other 4% to, of course, make sessions much bigger than that, but we feel pretty good about supporting the majority of sessions across the world in our December release. We also added the ability to dial in via phone and added a moderator chat, so a separate chat channel for moderators in the background, and of course the ultra designed scheduler interface. There's some pretty strong current use cases for Collaborate Ultra. I'm just going to list these here and then talk a little bit about when it's better to use Collaborate with the original experience, which is what we're using here today. The group collaboration and meetings, teaching and learning in the smaller classes is where we feel that Collaborate Ultra is best suited, and we've gotten some really positive feedback from customers that have adopted within those smaller classes. But there are times when Collaborate with the original experience is a better fit, and as a subscriber to the Collaborate service, you have access both to Collaborate with the original experience, which is what we're using here, and the Ultra experience, which is what we've been talking about. Those cases are really when you want larger classes or meetings, because Collaborate with the Ultra experience does currently support up to 100 participants. If you want to go beyond that, Collaborate with original experience is a much better fit. And also, if you require very specific features of Collaborate with the original experience, such as breakout groups, that's a much better experience in Collaborate with original experience. And with that, I will talk to the roadmap. One of the things that we do with our technical preview program is actually conduct feature prioritization surveys, right? And so we were very active at the end of last year, providing a pretty robust list and conversation around the various things that customers have been telling us they want, or we sort of have already had in our roadmap as a result of bringing features that are already in version 12 as an example. And so this is a view, just mainly to give you a view of how wide we sort of ask the question. So you see a lot of sort of smaller things here. If you zoom into the top 10, roughly, these are the top most valuable requested features from our technical preview program. So you see breakout groups leading the pack, polling and whiteboard improvements neck and neck. The ability to record and playback in more of a native web environment, not just a single MP4 file, and then of course Learn 9.1 integration enhancements along with a collection of other features. And you'll see that reflected here in our roadmap now. As an example, the #1 item in that list was breakout groups, and that is currently in development. So we're actively working. In fact, I got a demo from the dev team yesterday of some of the interactions with breakout groups. Very, very exciting feature. It's just as powerful as the version 12 breakout groups, with, of course, the added benefit of the more sort of enhanced video collaboration. Also looking at the ability to snap pictures of the whiteboard and allowing the moderator to bring those back into the main group session afterwards so students could present on their work, things like that. Very seamless workflows in terms of transitioning students into groups and then back into the main group. Also handling, automatically things like permissions so that those students can share things on the whiteboard when they join that group, and then even if they don't have that permission in the main group, etc. Isolating the chat for those users so they can chat just amongst themselves, but also having the ability to get the attention of the moderator. So if the moderator needs to come in and join that group, or maybe just chat down some instructions to that group, that moderator could do so across multiple groups, or of course joining one at a time. Wade discussed the redesigned Learn 9.1 integration that is also in development today for Collaborate with the Ultra experience. And what you see here in the image is a screenshot of the Ultra design language applied to the Collaborate scheduling UI. So here is the list of sessions shown in the new Ultra design language, the list of recordings, integrated very deeply into Learn, or I guess intuitively into Learn, I should say, which allows additional support. So there's a lot of functionality within that scheduler UI that needs to be duplicated in various scenarios. And so, for example, downloading recordings or setting telephony session settings is available in this UI today, but not yet available in the B2 for 9.1. So we really want to tighten that experience across all of the Collaborate offerings, and very specifically in Learn 9.1. And what we want to do beyond that, so once we've introduced this new redesigned Learn 9.1 integration, we want to go deeper with that as well. So we want to take advantage of some of the power of Learn 9.1, which Wade has already discussed, things like the gradebook integration for Collaborate attendance, and of course using the group list for the breakout groups in Collaborate with the Ultra experience. In research at this point, which basically means we are in the process of designing it, speccing these features out, is real-time comprehension with polling. So different than version 12, for those of you who are familiar with it, polling is really treated more like content within the context of a session. So you see here in the image on the right-hand side the process of creating a poll. Very, very simple. It's very much in line with the Ultra design language that Wade was talking about from a theming perspective. So you'll start to see continuity between Blackboard Learn with the Ultra style theme and Collaborate with the Ultra experience. And then moving on, as I mentioned, polling being more content-based, right? So on the left-hand side, you see that really the poll takes up the entirety of the content, right? It replaces the slide, if you will, which gives students a sort of better interaction with the overall poll. So on the left side, you see the student answering the question. On the right-hand side, you see the moderator seeing the results of the poll and being able to drill into each answer. So you see here that 60-some% of students answered A on this particular poll, and the moderator wanted to drill into who answered A and sees a list on the right-hand side of everyone that answered that way, and they could click on any one of these answers and see that. They have the ability to reveal results to everyone so that the students could also see the results if the moderator chose to do so. And we'll also be looking to providing a baseline sort of data extraction initially in a simple CSV file that will allow you, if you want to use a real-time comprehensive poll as some sort of assessment or as part of attendance, that data will be provided for you to do so. We've also had a fair bit of interest in enhancing the whiteboard. So this is in research now. Things like better fills and strokes and better shapes, but also, and perhaps more importantly, the ability to retain the state of the whiteboard across multiple pages, save the whiteboard out within the session and reuse that again. So if you do have teachers that have a lot of time invested into creating whiteboards, leveraging that time, week in, week out, and starting with the same whiteboard over and over. It's a very, very powerful tool. Getting live feedback from the class. So this is the idea of more of a yes/no type response rather than a multiple choice type poll. So allowing students to react positively or negatively to any sort of material. That could be as simple as, am I going too fast? And you could see in real time what your students think about that, or it could be as involved as introducing a new topic and sort of leaving that open for 10-15 minutes to see and gauge how students are responding to the introduction of new materials. I mentioned earlier how we've been working with the Gallaudet University to better support deaf and hard of hearing learners. And so we've been working on designing a sign language interpreter feature that would allow basically these learners to follow both the active speaker within the session and the interpreter in the session. That interpreter, of course, can be located anywhere, right? So if you do have an interpreter for your deaf community that is in a completely remote location, they can join, they can interpret for the active speaker, and the students can follow along in a view that is tailored for them, showing both the speaker and the interpreter at the same time. Here's an overall view of the Collaborate Ultra Experience roadmap. There are some things in here that I haven't discussed, which I'll touch on very briefly before handing back off to Wade. A couple things about what's in beta is that the browser support for Collaborate Ultra, we support every major browser today. Google Chrome provides the best experience because it has native support for WebRTC, although all other browsers are supported. And Firefox has recently introduced more robust WebRTC support, and we are in the process of ensuring that that is stable with our technical preview program and plan on introducing Firefox WebRTC support in the near future. We've also just added things like microphone indicators, network quality indicators, just little things like that that enhance the overall experience for moderators and participants alike, and that will be going into our beta environment this week. In development, something that I didn't mention in the roadmap is the ability to persist content across sessions. So if I upload a PowerPoint or a PDF presentation into my Ultra session, being able to use that in that session in the future. So I could preload at the beginning of the semester a bunch of materials that I want to present throughout the semester, or I could just sort of do that the night before I'm prepping for a course. We've talked about deeper integration with Learn 9.1. Also the instructor mobile experience with BB Instructor app. So I talked about the student experience in BB Student and participating in a Collaborate session, and Wade's going to get into more details about our BB Instructor app and roadmap there. But the idea would be to, of course, be able to moderate that session as a moderator or instructor from a mobile device. We're also looking at extending support to 250 participants. And then last but not least, in research that I didn't cover with a visual, is native session recording and playback. So basically the recording of all of the assets that were presented in the session, including the chat, including hand raise, and then presenting that in a web-based format that is a little bit more structured in that you could navigate via a chat message or via a slide, etc. So you have a sort of, I guess, more seamless experience when it comes to playing back Collaborate recordings. And with that, I will turn it back over to Wade, and when we get to the Q&A section, I'll be happy to answer more questions.
Great, thanks, Carl. So next topic is where we are in our roadmap for Blackboard mobile applications. And I'm going to first start with Blackboard Student. So on prior sessions, we've discussed how we are moving to persona-based applications rather than ones that are focused on individual applications. So for example, Mobile Learn today that is available is designed for both students and instructors, but if you want to join a Collaborate session, you have a different app. So our shift now is moving toward really a focus on an app that's designed for a certain type of user and making all services available within that particular app. BB Student is that app for our students, and it is now available within 22 languages in 85 countries. So you can go to the iTunes Store, the Google Play Store, the Windows Market. It is available for all three of those. And you'll see here that it brings that Ultra design language to the students today. So that includes displaying to the students an activity stream that brings together information from all his or her different courses or modules. We have that new course outline view with the navigation. It's simple to use, very intuitive, and students can also see the different courses or modules in the context of time. Assignments and tests are also completely responsive where we've been able to do so. So here we have an example of a test that is just a standard Blackboard Learn test. It wasn't specifically designed to be mobile, but as long as the question types are supported by the app, it will appear in a completely native way. Students can also see their marks and grades, and then of course due dates are placed onto a calendar that is simple to use within the app. To the BB Student app, we've recently added support for joining a Collaborate Ultra session. So again, with the same app, students can click on a link for a session, and from that link, join Collaborate Ultra. So it's, again, bringing together all of the different learning solutions in one app designed for students. There are two key feature areas that we're focused on bringing in 2016 that will really close that final gap to the experience that your students may have in their familiarity with the Mobile Learn app. And those are discussions, being able to be used in a native app experience, and then also being able to receive push notifications when certain events have occurred within the Blackboard Learn 9.1 courses. Available today is a BB Grader app. This was really our first step, our first foray into an application designed for instructors, educators, evaluators. And this is available today in a number of languages, and we're going to be building on that concept. It will be a separate app. We are going to be introducing BB Instructor, and we have sort of two major milestones that we're focused on for this year. The first release of BB Instructor is really going to be designed for joining and working with a collab session. So as an instructor, joining that session, moderating the session from a tablet on either iOS or on Google Android. Secondly is marking. So that will come later in the year, and being able to review submitted assignments, mark those papers, and apply a score to those evaluations. So just to bring all of that together, just to recap the things that are available now, Mobile Learn continues to be available and supported. So that is an app that, again, brings together both instructor and student experiences in a single app. BB Grader also is still available and supported. And now, of course, we have available BB Student, which includes those primary features I mentioned, the ability to join a Collaborate Ultra session. And one thing that we didn't discuss is that it also has integration with cloud services, including Google Drive, Dropbox, and OneDrive. So this allows a student to author an assignment submission in one of those services, and within the mobile app, go to an assignment and post that as a submission. So a student can completely author and submit an assignment on a mobile device using one of those cloud services. In beta are some enhancements for BB Student. So this includes joining a Collaborate Ultra session from within a course or module, so not just through a session link. Also being able to have different notifications about activity and better document navigation within a session. And then finally bringing some of the information about the profile into the BB Student app. I mentioned already that in development, our key two areas of focus right now are those push notifications and bringing discussions to the native experience of BB Student. And then we're also researching some other enhancements that will come a little further along in the year. That includes breakout sessions for Collaborate Ultra, support for right-to-left languages. So as was mentioned earlier, the BB Student app is available in 22 languages. It is available in 85 countries. However, we do have work to do yet to support Arabic, and Hebrew. Another area of improvement that we're researching is the way in which third-party content is launched and managed from within the native app. So this might include launching a SCORM package that has been designed to work on a mobile device, or launching to an LTI tool. Also, improving the analytics and telemetry for our clients who are leveraging analytics for Learn, for example. While the data hits or the data access hits that come from BB Student are recorded, they're not segmented from web hits. So it's a little difficult today to determine the two different populations, and we're going to be making improvements there to determine which mobile app is being used, whether it's BB Student or Mobile Learn, and so forth. And then finally, for BB Instructor, updating what we already do today with BB Grader, transforming that into BB Instructor, allowing it to also manage collaborate sessions and be available not only for iOS but also for Android tablet. And lastly, our last topic is to just give you an update on SaaS deployment offerings for Learn, and as well as the impact of the optional Ultra course view. So Blackboard Learn today has a range of choices for deployment models, and Blackboard Learn is very unique in that sense that you can run that on your own local self-hosted environment. You can have that be hosted and managed by us within our managed hosting offerings, and we also support a public cloud-based SaaS offering. All three of those are supported. As you've seen, we are continuing to invest in all three of those, but we do understand that some of our clients do want SaaS. That is the deployment model that our certain customers do want. And that's for a number of different reasons. But just to sort of highlight why you might consider SaaS, first and foremost is that you will maintain the same staff. So as with our managed hosting offering, it is Blackboard staff members who manage the operations of our SaaS offering. And the primary reason that some of our clients look at SaaS is an improved experience around both zero-down updates as well as rapid access to new features. And that really is the benefit of SaaS. We're able to push out updates, fixes, new features in a continuous release model without having to take the environment offline for those changes. Additionally, the services of the environment, the capacity can be expanded without having to take the environment offline. And so we do understand that this is important for some of our clients, and as a result, they may consider SaaS as their deployment model. There are three offerings of SaaS. If this is something that is of interest to your institution, I'll just highlight the key differences, but you can take a look at this. So standard is our baseline SaaS offering. It does receive those continuous updates. You are able to do integrations through web services, through LTI. You get both a production and a test instance. However, when it comes to building blocks, you are limited to some pre-installed building blocks that are curated and certified. So if you use some of the more commonly used building blocks, then you're probably fine. But if you have some very specialized or custom building blocks, then standard probably is not the right solution for you. But you could then consider Plus and Advantage. For Plus, the major difference is the ability to have your own building blocks that you define. There are also flexible deployment options, so a bit more control over when you receive feature updates. And then finally is Advantage, which includes the function of the features of the Plus offering, but also includes an additional instance for testing, for staging, I apologize, and also includes additional services and direct data access through OpenDB and ASR. So what does the transition path look like? If you are an institution interested in SaaS as a deployment model, there are a couple of different approaches, primarily based on where you are today. If you are in managed hosting and you are interested in SaaS, we're going to be starting planning activities with those interested customers around mid-year. So definitely be communicating with your account manager about that. We are looking to have some customers, if they would like, to have SaaS available to them in production by the end of the year. But as far as the move goes, if you're coming from managed hosting, Blackboard staff will carry out the transition. There's nothing specifically that our clients have to do technologically. It's really more about just general change management. And really, as far as our managed hosted customers go, we think that probably 2017 is going to be more of a timeline when those institutions would move, just because of a transition from one academic year to another. So if you start planning now, you might be looking, in the Northern Hemisphere anyway, at a summer 2017 release, for example, or a move to SaaS. The second category here is for our self-hosted customers. And they may also be interested in what SaaS and the cloud brings, and they should start to discuss that with their account manager. We are recommending a look at doing a first step to managed hosting, simply because that is the more significant data move, sending hard drives or transferring databases from an on-premise environment into a Blackboard hosted environment. At that point, we can quickly move the data from a managed hosting data center to a SaaS-based data center. That's very straightforward. But again, if this is something you're interested in, we would recommend that you take a look at moving to managed hosting within 2016, and then from there you could go to SaaS in 2017. So to wrap up, I just want to also summarize and give you an update on the Ultra course view and our dual development path for Blackboard Learn. So let's start on the left side here, and we've shared with you and given you some insight into exactly what we're doing for 2016 as it relates to Blackboard Learn 9.1. And that really is that investment in bringing a refreshed user experience to Blackboard Learn 9.1, improving workflows, bringing responsiveness to key areas of the 9.1 experience. And that is going to be available for self-hosted and managed hosted customers. And again, we're bringing that design language, that Ultra design language, to 9.1, and that's one track of development that we're doing this year. The other is continuing on our path to redesign from the ground up the learning experience with the Ultra course view. And that view is really optional. It's not required to take that particular experience, but it is something that we're continuing to develop, and we believe in that being our long-term future. It is still at an early stage. We are working with a few clients to target an initial production launch in the third quarter of this year. As of right now, we're still in a technical preview. This is going to include that simplified Ultra course, but again, that is optional, and it is planned to be available in our SaaS deployment model. So how do you get access to see that Ultra course view, to see that experience and see the development that we're doing there? And that's going to be through our educator preview. As I've mentioned before, we already do have a technical preview program going on, but we've had to limit it, and we add a few more clients every week. But there's just such a demand for everyone to take a look at this. So we are launching an educator preview for next quarter. We're just wrapping up development on it now, and it's going to give access to the Ultra course view just through a simple sign-up page. You register, and you'll get access to a handful of courses or modules to experiment in. The educator preview is going to be hosted initially in our North American data center. That's probably where it will stay and live. So we don't expect you to use that for actually teaching classes or using it with students, but definitely feel free to use that for experimenting with the Ultra Course View, getting familiar with its functionality as you plan for the future. So stay tuned for more information about that. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Natasha for wrap-up.
Thank you, Wade, and thank you to Carl as well. So we are coming to the close of our webinar for today. But before we go, a few points for you. One, this webinar is the first in a series of quarterly webinars that we will deliver over the course of the year to keep you updated not only on the product roadmap, but also on new releases as they become available. So you can expect that in Q2, we will host a webinar on the updates in the 9.1 release. Additionally, we will have separate webinars on analytics to share with you our expanded portfolio. You can see here on the screen what some of those topics will include. Predictive analytics for one, as well as solutions that help you and your institutions improve student retention and student success. And lastly, we are busy planning our EMEA Teaching and Learning Conference, which will take place the 6th to the 8th in Groningen in the Netherlands. And you can see the link here to register if you're interested. We will also share this information at the end of the webinar when we send out the Q&A summary.